Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the show. If I could just get everybody to calm down. All right, we've got the green light. Now, who are these guys again? Derrick and Brian, standing tall. Active 20 to 30, we want to hear it all. Yeah, tell us your story with some local beer. Man, listen and learn, and just stay right here.
Welcome to the Standing Tall podcast. I'm Derrick. I'm here with Brian, and we've got our guests, Mario Reyes from Juarez and Gino Fortis, well known in the Sacramento area for his shenanigans. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys for the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to have you and looking forward to some events that are coming up, and we look forward to hearing more about that. We're going to dive into that a little bit later, but to start, in tradition with Standing Tall and our brew that's coming up, we're going to taste some beer. Now, Mario, I'm sorry we couldn't get you some Red Bus beer down there quickly enough, but you found a pretty cool substitute. So let's maybe you can talk about that, what you found.
Sure, no problem. I think I'll have some in a couple of weeks of those. So for now, I went local, something from here, from my country, from Mexico, and it is called Diosa Blanca, so like white goddess or something like that, and it's a wheat beer. So I haven't tried it before, so it's gonna be my first time here with you guys, and I hope I can enjoy it.
All right.
Nice. What do you've got, Gino?
All right. So I have here, so in honor of our guest from Mexico, we have a Mexican lager, right? Then two, this is actually brewed by a past active from 2030 at his brewery, David Chavez, who I ran Lobster Feed with a long time ago. And then for Wallace, I just thought that since you do artwork for beer cans, I thought this art on this can is really cool. Awesome. You see the name, the Helado Oscuro, and the hops right here are for the eyes. And I'm kind of a nerdy Star Wars geek, so I just think it's a really cool can.
That is a cool can. It's
cool.
Shiny too. It's shiny, right? The label is like kind of like foil, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know if you guys can see, but the stormtroopers are the teeth too.
Ah.
Okay. That's neat.
Yeah. True.
That's neat.
That's cool.
That's really cool. And David Chavez's brewery is called what?
Porch Light.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. In Sacramento as well, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Nice. Well, thank you, David, for providing Gino his beer, and thank you, Mario, for sharing. I'm going to share mine. I've got Squareback. It's from a Red Bus as well. It's another big beer. So we'll see how long it takes me to get through this, and we'll take a taste. I believe it's an IPA. Is that right, Brian?
Squareback is pale ale. Is a pale ale.
Oh, pale ale. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. What have you got, Brian?
So I wish I would have had the Mexican lager, because there is Red Bus does have a Mexican lager, and it's called Viva El Vocho. So it's yeah. So it's got a Volkswagen Beetle.
The Volkswagen. Okay, I could imagine when you just mentioned the name.
Yeah.
It is the Beetle.
Yeah. It's
the
a Beetle,
Vocho.
and it's like a taxi, like on the can. And
Okay.
I guess Mexico, they were the last country to manufacture the Volkswagen Beetle, from what I understood. So
yeah, I learned it. Yeah, a lot.
So I'm having this beer here. It's called Hazy Little Thing, and of course I'm wearing a green shirt with a green can, so you can't actually see it. But it's from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company in Chico, California. So,
nice.
very
Another popular
beer.
brand that has done a lot of good for charity, huh?
Absolutely, yes, for sure.
So.
Definitely, really stepped up when we had the California wildfires here a couple years ago. They made a huge donation to victims of the fire, which was really a real stand-up thing to do. And really, they rallied a lot of breweries together in the spirit of collaboration to help a lot of those in our community that were in need. So
Yeah.
Always stepping up. Sierra Nevada does an amazing job.
And as we know, Red Bus is kind of helping us take some of that resilience model from Sierra Nevada and blend it into 2030 charity work, and some of the funds of the 4-packs and the kegs that are sold will be going back to the Active 2030 Club. So we got to give a shout out to Eric over at Red Bus and thank him so much for all of his support, and looking forward to an event tomorrow that we'll talk more about. But let's crack these beers, gentlemen.
All right.
All right.
Absolutely.
And I'm going right over can today, so I'm just going to go right to the tasting. I think you guys are going to do the same. So.
Yeah.
Well, that tastes great.
I've got a superhead on this one, so I'm going to give it a second. Yeah.
Oh, look at that one. That's a nice, pretty wheat beer. Yes. Nice orange.
I think it has
color.
I think it's a good color. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And Gino, that Helado Oscuro is very dark, right?
Yeah. So check it out. This glass here that I have this beer in, this was given to me by a buddy of mine this December for Christmas when I was in Costa Rica. So my buddy, I met him at my first international convention in 2005 in Costa Rica. And at that convention was also the first ever Nations Night. So kind of weird how all this ties together.
Awesome.
Well, I think more importantly than anything, let's raise a glass. Cheers, gentlemen.
Salute.
Now this tastes pretty good. Mario, I'm really curious on this wheat beer. Is it kind of like what are the flavors? Is it?
Right now it is quite light actually. I don't know how much percentage of alcohol it does contain. 4.5, so it's rather a lighter one.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some orange flavors, honey and bread. So you can feel the citrics actually pretty clear, and it feels pretty light. I liked it actually, and I think it's also perfect temperature as well. So good.
I like those wheat beers a lot. I almost opened one today for tonight's tasting. It was Allagash White. That's the one we have here in the U.S. It's brewed in Maine, and it's got that citrus and kind of that coriander. It has some real interesting flavors, but it's a really nice beer, and it's super light, and it's a great summer beer. It's one of my favorites.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
nice
Perfect.
beer you can drink in the hot weather.
Yeah.
Oof.
Awesome.
And
how is the weather down in Juarez?
Look, this weekend was crazy. Actually, we live here in Juarez, in northern side of Chihuahua. It's a desert basically. It's a desertic zone. So basically, you have a very extreme temperatures. So we were above 105 basically degree the full weekend. So you can imagine it was pretty intense. So a beer was a must during the weekend to lower your temperature, right?
Right,
for sure.
And a light one that you can drink plenty of is a good fit.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, let's jump into to talking about kind of what we've done in the past, and it's your 2030 story, Mario. Do you mind sharing a little bit about how you came to find the 2030 Club and what led you to joining?
Sure. Yeah, from my side, I had before I joined, I had no connection really to Active 2030, even though here in Juarez, our club was actually the first club out of the U.S., the first 2030 club before the joining since 1944. So it is an old club here, but I had no ties to 2030, neither my family or something. So I first joined because basically a friend of mine has a cousin in that was a member of 2030, and we year to year we do an activity which is our biggest fundraising event, which is a pretty particular one. We have like a theater play that we do, and we do by ourselves. I mean, we do act as well and direct, produce, and all of that. So there was a year I was still in university, and they invite me to the play, basically to have a role backstage, supporting them with all the necessary stuff back there. And so I attended to several rehearsals and to several pre-activities, let's say, to the play. Then I participated in the play without saying nothing. Of course, I was just in the background. So I find it like pretty cool. But at the end, I was just expecting that to be like a project, like something, and to finish that, and that was it. But then they invited me to the meetings, so I get involved a little more into other kind of projects, more towards because the theater play, even though it's a fundraising event, it's a pretty fun event, So there's a lot of camaraderie and all of that. So that was my first, let's say, contact with 2030. But later on, I got to know all the other stuff, the service projects and what we do. What we did with that money that we were able to raise, and also the actual meetings and the formality, professionalism. So all of that really attracted me. So I immediately joined after that, and that was basically almost 13 years ago, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Mario, how many members are in your club?
Right now, we are not a big club. We are currently active members. We are 13 active members. We have a couple of with what we call as senior active members, which is basically above 40 but not 45 yet. And we have several guys that have been served as national president here in Mexico, and they have a special classification, which is like past national president, which has a role, and we have like 4 of them. So in our club, we are close to 20 more or less normally in our meetings and all of that.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. And you talked about the fundraising. What are some of the things that you all have done with those funds that you've raised?
Sure. Well, we have dedicated for the last 5 years, more or less, to a project which is called, in Spanish is Una Niñez sobre Ruedas. So it's like children on wheels or something like that. And it's a project where we give basically wheelchairs to kids and also to adults. I mean whatever it is required, and any kind of wheelchair. There are some special ones that require much more like equipment to have our kids like settled and with like seal belts and all of that. So it has been very, very good because we found there's a extreme need of that, and there's no place where they can get it. So if you don't have the funds, they truly invent and build their own kind of wheelchair to help their children to move, but it's definitely not an appropriate one. So that's a project we normally found. And of course, there are several other stuff like towards education, like scholarships, scholar supplies, and stuff like that we do also year by year.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that a lot of groups that need funding or are looking for funding, 2030 is well known enough there that they come and seek you out rather than you seeking them out or trying to find organizations to give to?
That's curious, and it's a good question because sometimes you fortunately had a successful event and you have some resources, but you sometimes don't find immediately the people in need, right? So we little by little we have been in very close contact with schools that are dedicated to treat our kids which have special needs, and they have already our contact. So it has been improving year by year. They know where to call basically when some of these needs are there. And yeah, I mean the people. I gotta be honest. I think our project, our theater play, is almost more known than the actual club. So they know
Wow.
that the play is gonna be some days. We're typically do it on November timeframe, and we receive a lot of also requests by that timeframe in our Facebook pages and all of that because they know we typically are giving on those days because of the play, of course.
And did you say that the play is televised as well?
We record it and place it in our YouTube channel. So actually, it's available for you guys. You can check all of them. We have more than 60 years in a row performing this play, and
Cool.
even during pandemic, we of course were not allowed to have anything on theater. So we did a digital performance, which was very challenging but very very fun as well. So yeah, we do have all of that recorded. I mean, not the 63, but maybe the recent 20 years are there.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I think we might do something like that. If it weren't for Gino, he might not perform well enough for us. So that's awesome, man. That's really cool to hear about and to see the difference in the fundraising techniques and kind of how you all go out and do your way of philanthropic giving and fundraising and things like that. That's really awesome.
I love it. I when Mario was explaining it, all I could think about was our club trying to do something like that.
Oh no.
Hey, it's truly because we have a rehearsal a month and a half in advance every year, every day, every weekday, basically, in order to learn the dialogues and all of that. We do all the characters, all the roles, even some female characters as well are done by guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a comedy actually.
Yeah.
But it's challenging, but it's pretty cool. What can I say? It's part of the culture of my club for sure.
What I love about it, Mario. Oh, sorry. Oh,
I was gonna say. So Mario, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we do skits for our club, but they don't quite have the preparation that you guys do. So typically, it's like the day of the skit, you give a guy some lines and say, "Here, say this. Here's a wig for you. Put this dress on or whatever, and go at it." Right? That's the extent of the planning.
Often the chant from the crowd is "Just read it."
Yeah, that is. It's so true.
Cool.
But Mario, what I love about this, what you're talking about, and the month of rehearsal, and the time that you're spending with your fellow club members in preparing this play, is a lot. It goes to a lot of the things that we've heard in some of the other podcasts that we've done. The power of bringing people together in the spirit of doing something together, and it builds such strong camaraderie and relationships
for sure
with the membership, and something like that is like, especially when you're pushed to do something that maybe be outside of your comfort zone, which I think is the spirit of 2030 all the time, is that we push members to do something that doesn't feel may not feel comfortable to them, but coming out of it, they are, they feel so accomplished,
For sure. You really create a bond out of these experiences, like you said, that are out of what you typically. I mean, if I'm not part of Active 2030, I would never participate in a theater play for sure. I mean, there's no way because there's nothing with my background and all of that. And I think I can say almost 100% of my guys felt the same. But like you just said, I mean, going through the challenge and at the end be successful. So it all makes you feel like very satisfied by the work. Felt like very close to the guys that did the same with you, basically. So each and every it is called Tenorio, our play. Each and every Tenorio, we have new stories, new like something to tell about, something to remember, and it's great. It's like I said, it's really a part of the culture of Juarez Club, and we are fully committed to maintain this 62 years in a row live. So the new generations continue the work that our predecessors started.
Crazy.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So before we move forward, I think we want to talk a little bit about our event that's coming up tomorrow. That Mario, you'll be able to enjoy the end result of once you come down for convention. Tomorrow, June 15th, at Red Bus Brewing in Folsom, California, we're going to be doing a brewing event. We're going to be making our own Standing Tall beer, and it's called Standing Tall because the motto of 2030 is "One never stands so tall as when kneeling to help a child," and that means a lot to, I think, the four of us on this call and the work that we all have committed to doing and the service that we have committed to doing, and the reward that we get personally from seeing the result of children actually being served that wouldn't have been served otherwise in almost every case. So we are doing this brewing event. We're making beer. If you've never made a beer before, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. out at Red Bus, we're going to be throwing the hops in. We're going to be mixing the mash, right, Brian? We're going to be kind of everything that goes into making a beer, we're going to be doing. And then come July 9th, that beer is going to be ready to go and also available for convention delivery. I heard Gino has volunteered to personally deliver 4-packs to every room at the Embassy Suites during convention week. So thank you for that, Gino. I appreciate you. But it's going to be a great event, and it's for all 2030 members who are available to come, their family, their kids. We're going to have music. We're going to have a food truck, possibly a photo bus. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be one of the things that is one of the key components of 2030 is gathering, having a good time, and doing something that's going to be ultimately greater than any one of us, at a time. So I invite you all to come out, and I look forward to getting your opinion on the beer that we're making when you come down or come up for convention.
Great. And Derrick, let me congratulate you guys because it truly is an amazing activity. I would say something that really like pops up as something different, something authentic. And I mean, like you said, standing tall, it's something that really means something to us. And it's just incredible to have something that will last not only as a history or something that we will talk to our newest members that we once participated in something like that. But it's going to be, like you said, a very nice touch, a very good ingredient of what we are preparing and what you guys and your clubs have been preparing for so long to take place in Sacramento as our 100-year anniversary. So it's awesome. Congratulations, guys. I'm eager to have one of these standing talls in my hands and do what is required.
I look forward to hearing your opinion after 3 or 4 too. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be better and better after each beer, right?
I think I'd agree with that. Hey, Gino, as someone who has traveled a lot internationally, someone who has come from the number one club here in Sacramento, how well received is the organization outside of the U.S.? And Mario, you can touch on this too. I'd like to hear both sides, actually. Gino's experience as somebody coming from our club going out, and somebody who has received members from our club coming in and traveling internationally, and kind of the respect that is provided in both directions. Having been around now our club for 100 years, and being able to celebrate that together. So Gino, I'll let you kind of run with that.
So Derrick, I wasn't quite sure if you're referring to how the club is perceived in another country, or how a member like myself visiting another country and being received by members of those clubs. I think both are interesting, but
yeah, I think my answer is yes, both.
Okay, yeah,
So,
it's just kind of like
yeah.
beers. Would you like to drink the Mexican lager or the IPA? Why don't we do both?
Yes.
Exactly.
No, I'd like to hear both answers if you're up for it.
Yeah. Well, I think that some of the countries, because they have telethons, right? Like your Jerry Lewis telethon, where it's a event that is produced on television, that the club is just extremely well known in countries, Costa Rica, Panama, because it's just the scale of events that they have. When you go to a country like Panama, you'll see like 20, 30, statues and throughout the city. So it definitely, the organization is you just could ask someone on the street in Costa Rica, have you heard of Active 2030? And they're like, oh yeah, the telethon, Whereas that's not necessarily the case here in the United States. If you just ask someone here in Sacramento, have you ever heard of Active 2030? Some people do, but you're not going to get 100% response to that. Whereas in those countries, I think you're probably going to get 100% response if they're going to know Active 2030. And that's just really, really neat, and it's an incredible thing what they did. And then as far as the other aspect, as far as a person traveling to those countries, I mean, I've just been received with open arms and just treated extremely well by my brothers and sisters in these other countries, and it's absolutely amazing. So that's a favor that I want us to reciprocate here for this centennial. I'm just dying to do that, because like I said, I've been treated extremely well. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me go and do this to show you guys.
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd say less about Gino coming to your country, Mario, but other members coming to visit. I mean, the level of respect, I think, that goes both ways is tremendous. And what's it like to have a member from the U.S. come down to visit, to see kind of what's going on down there, and what is their reaction to seeing kind of the difference in how you all do your fundraising and charity work versus how they do it, up north?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's awesome. Actually, a fun story. My first international convention in 2011 in Armenia, Colombia, I get to know this fine gentleman, Gino. He was just installed as international relation officer, so it was pretty cool to hang out with him. And every single time there's a meeting like a convention or a midterm or something, it's always very cool to help people basically from everywhere, right? For all the countries. We are currently in 8 countries. And it's, of course, the people closer or for example, in Central America, they are a little closer in terms of culture and, traditions and all of that. Compare perhaps to us, even here in Mexico, and of course to you guys there in the U.S. So it brings always a very nice flavor to have people from the U.S. coming and attending the events anywhere really. I had the opportunity to be basically in all the countries and also in the U.S. So I had the experience always to have everyone in the same room, and it's always very it just made the events much more richer, to have everyone adding something. And of course, the main and the most important aspect, perhaps, or difference is the language, right? We are, besides the U.S., all the other countries, of course, we have Spanish as our mother language, and it's always nice to have this other component, this other culture and language. And there's nothing better to see a guy or a girl talking to a person from the U.S., even though they don't speak a word in English, and the other way around. And you tend to see that all the time, because what makes us or gather us is the values of Active 2030, and that's exactly the same in all the countries. So it's awesome. Yeah. It's an awesome experience to have people from different countries together.
You know what, Mario? Yeah. I completely agree with that. So I even say that in our own Sacramento #1 club, that you have, different people. Some people are more straight-laced, and some people are a little bit more free and wild or whatever. But we all have this common bond. And then you take that where you go internationally, where you have people with different cultures and different languages. But there's this one thing that ties us all together. And I think that's amazing, where we all have a little bit of sameness, but yet we're very different. And so that lets you experience different things and create bonds with people that you wouldn't normally do. So I think it's special, in my own club, having relationships with people that are different than me, but then even more so on that international level.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think a couple of the things, like what Gino said, is you referred to all of us as brothers and sisters, and I think that bond keeps us very tight. And I think the language differences, the language that we all speak is the language of service above self, and I think that's the thing that ties us all together, and it's along the lines of what you said, Gino. And I think that when we come together, like you were talking about, Mario, it's like we all know why we're here. We all know what we're doing. We're here to have a good time, but we're here to serve. And that's the common bond. That's the glue that kind of ties us all together. And I think that's what makes it really special and different of any other organization that has been around for 100 years. I think you don't see a lot of that. And I mean, even your club that's since 1944, I mean, you don't see clubs that last that long unless they have a common bond and a common goal to move forward and really serve something more than themselves. And I think that really is what's special about our organization. So thank you both for sharing that. I think we're getting a little bit short on time, but what I want to do is I want to talk about this big event that's coming up that's very special nationally and internationally. Mario, do you want to touch on what's going on here coming up in July?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the big event of the year, and not only of the year. I mean, we have been waiting for this for so long. It's very special. I think we all feel very honored to be part of this celebration. I mean, and I can tell you that by myself, being in the position and try to represent Active 2030 in this specific year is, I think, very, very special, very humbling. And the event that you guys, together with our sisters from 1032, are putting together, it's gonna last forever, really. Not only in the minds of the people that is attending, but also very basically in all the person that had this logo in their chest, even for a short period of time. This celebration is gonna be something very, very special, and I mean, I'm really looking forward to that, to be there, to spend those days, and to at the end to have a cheers for all those years of different leadership, leaders for different services, for all the amount of kids that have been served, for all the bonds that we have created, lifetime friendships, and family. Really, I had as an international president, I had the opportunity to define what's going to be the theme for the speech contest of this year, and the one I thought was the most suitable, that touches everything that I consider to be Active 2030 is basically Active 2030, 100 years of leadership, service, and family. So I truly believe this is what we are, and it's great to be together in this next month to celebrate that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I know Gino has taken on running a very special event on Thursday night of convention, I believe. Gino, do you want to talk a little bit about Nations Night?
Nations Night, we're going to have an incredible time. It's going to be a little bit, a taste of the world and also a taste of Sacramento. We're going to have the Red Bus beer, but we're also going to have other local breweries that are going to have this, so a tasting for beer, wine, and spirits. So it's going to have a band there. There's going to be dancing. It's going to be a good time. One thing for people that are viewing this, one thing we're going to walk from the hotel to where we're having it. We're having it at this real cool location, the historic Railroad Museum, which is just a really grand a venue. But we're going to do a march from there to the Railroad Museum. So we want to have some songs for your country, some chants. We'll have the flags out, and we'll walk over there, and it's gonna be a good time. So yeah,
count me in for that. I'm doing that.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Don't walk behind Gino if he's had any of the standing fall through, but you'll find your way.
And count with some tequila, brother. Count with it.
That's right. We're counting on you to bring the tequila.
Exactly.
Mario, would you have a little message about International Convention for our Spanish-speaking 2030 brothers and sisters? Give them tell them a little bit about what's happening.
Of course, claro. Aprovechar el espacio para hablar un poquito en español. Un poquito lo que ya habíamos mencionado, realmente es una oportunidad única la de poder asistir a cualquier convención internacional, pero esta no es ni será cualquiera. Estamos hablando de 100 años de celebración, 100 años juntos, trabajando por la niñez, desarrollando líderes y creando lazos de amistad para siempre. Y es para nosotros un placer poder invitarlos, nuestros hermanos del Club de Sacramento número 1 y nuestras hermanas de Greater Sacramento 1032 han trabajado fuertemente para poner un plan que cumpla nuestras expectativas, que podamos celebrar juntos, y de verdad para aquellos que nos están escuchando, que tienen sus dudas si asistir o no, creo que es bien importante que se animen. Estoy seguro que será una experiencia para toda la vida y qué placer me dará poder verlos, saludarlos y vivir juntos Activo 2030 como se debe. Así que muchas gracias también a mis compañeros del podcast que me dieron este espacio, y pues los espero ya en un mes en Sacramento, California.
Eso.
That sounds like cheers to me.
Cheers
Hey.
to that. Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your stories. And we look forward to Convention, International and National Week that will be celebrated starting on July 11th, running through the 15th. So we look forward to having you up for convention. We look forward to that tequila, and we look forward to raising several glasses with you, Mario. So thank you. Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers,
And,
Thank
Mario.
you very much.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon,
Forward
brother.
to see you,
Yes.
brothers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You got it, my friend.